Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sacred Beauty Lifestyle Podcast. I am super excited to be here today with Sarah McLeod. Sarah is a positive force and founder of Vision Weaving. She is an artist, a healer, and an award winning author. She weaves healing energy through ceremonies, artwork, soundscapes, and private sessions to empower conscious awakening. She is the spiritual advisor and healer to celebrities, entrepreneurs, high profile leaders, and visionary trailblazers with an international clientele that spans 5 continents. Her first book, Spirit Guidance, was selected as a finalist in 2 categories for the International Book Awards 2021. So we are blessed with your presence here. Thank you for being here with us, Sarah. Welcome to the Sacred Style Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's funny, we have a mutual connection here in Northern California. So this is our first time actually connecting live face to face like this. And, I'm just really excited to delve in to what you're doing and what you're sharing with the world. You have quite a bio here of vast experience.
Yeah, it's a very lofty, when you read it out loud, it's like, my goodness, really, I'm just an ordinary person doing my thing. So to hear you say that, it's like, okay, wow.
And you sound pretty magnificent, and I think you are.
I try to keep it pretty humble, put it that way, because, yeah, it's, bringing in the light, bringing in, the consciousness expansion. It's important to stay humble and work with humility. So yeah,
I love that. And we're all great.
we are all great. Yeah,
And
we
we're
really are.
right. And how we're all meant to shine.
We really are. And I feel that in my bones. I really do. Yeah.
I love that you said that. I use that phrase as well. And
Mhm.
that's one of the things that we talked and connected quickly the other day about what, we'd love to share together. And you have a tagline of letting your spirit shine. And that is my MO. And you're polishing people on the inside, and I'm doing a little of both.
Right, right. Yeah, since I was a little girl, I loved to polish things. We had this a brass pole in the kitchen, and I would often polish it. And people would ask me what I was doing, and I said I was polishing. And I realized that that's what I'm still doing today.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Speaking of what you're doing today, will you tell the Sacred Beauty Podcast listeners and myself a little bit more about you and your history and how you got here today and what you're doing today?
Well, sure. I call myself an artist because I like that term. It has kind of no boundaries. And trying to give myself a label has always been really tricky. Um, Definitely a healer. And the reason for that is that I've been on a healing journey myself since I was little, and definitely all of my adult life. And along the way, realized that when I had kind of come to a place of wholeness in myself, that the next step and the responsibility was then to share what I had learned and what I had experienced and what I had found in myself, that it was the natural overflow to assist and be of service to other people.
I love that.
Yeah, and in that way, as really as you can see that as you heal yourself, as you do that work on yourself, that it has a ripple effect and it affects everybody in your sphere of influence. And for me, this is how we heal the world, heal the planet one heart at a time. It's like everybody's doing their own individual self-reflection, inner work.
Absolutely. Was there a little bit more you could tell us about, you know, just a little bit more about your journey, how you got here? Like what are you doing today exactly, like a little more depth? So you work one-on-one with clients, and maybe it sounds like there's another book inside of you and you are making incredible art.
Well, thank you. Yes, I've always been an artist or a filmmaker, or that was my dream. And I would have a psychic intuitive or an astrological reading, and they would say it's all about the art, Sarah. It's all about the art, and it's taken me a long time to understand really what that means. Um, because I was in a difficult place as a young adult and as a child. I was really lost as a young adult, and there was good reason for that. I experienced an extreme violation as a child, and it really obliterated my sense of self. So I was so lost that I didn't even know that I was lost. And by coming and pulling back the pieces of myself and meeting people, my first teacher, my first meditation teacher, who really turned the focus inward. And then by working with a lot of different healers, shamans, mystics, I sat at before many, many altars in sacred ceremonies and have done a tremendous amount of inner work to pull back those pieces of myself. And with those pieces come these visions and these creations that want to get born. And there is this understanding in me that everything is an expression of love. Everything is an expression of healing energy when you put that conscious intention into something that you're creating. So it's the artworks are really just another way to deliver a healing energy transmission or an activation, and do it in a way that more people can receive it, because a one-on-one session, obviously very beautiful if somebody comes to me in person, or if it's a distant session, those are very profoundly beautiful and healing and powerful, but it's just working with one person. But the artworks, the intention there is that it can reach a lot of people and affect a lot of conscious awakening on a bigger scale. So I came to that place in myself, recognizing that my purpose here, in alignment with my astrological chart and who I am and my own healing journey, is to be of service in that way, to assist other people to find that for themselves and to find that place of wholeness and to feel at home in themselves, and to heal and to do the shadow work and to look inside and clear out the things, the violations, the traumas, the pain, the woundedness that is keeping us stuck. So
There's
yeah,
so much.
that's
Go
what my
ahead.
work is about. So
Yes. Thank you for sharing. There's so much beauty in what you just shared. And often the case, I feel like so many healers or, great leaders, transformational leaders have been through the ringer.
mhm.
And the crack really is how the light gets in.
It
Right?
absolutely is. It absolutely is. And, for me, it's taking all the broken pieces and, I have a body that's taken a tremendous amount of hits, and it's high maintenance because of that. And it's just something that I'm working with in my life to maintain, even the ability to walk, for example, and to be pain free. It's constant maintenance, but there is a beauty in that self care routine. There is a beauty in that taking the time to nurture myself so that I can then give to others. And as a mom, a lot of people I know can relate to this as mothers, that they're giving, 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 and they're depleted at the end of the day. So I don't have that luxury. If I don't fill the cup first, I go down. So I have to have this self-care routine, and because of it, there's this beautiful balance of, ebb and flow.
Oh, yes. I think it's so important that you brought in mothers, because mothers were taught, I mean, it's nature anyway to give the woman and to take care of her children, but it's a part of the beauty of a woman is that we are caretakers, the feminine, right? Like, we like to
Mm-hmm.
give, we like to help in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has been like the culture to teach us to overgive and to often overarch. And especially when you've been through so much trauma, that sometimes those who have been through end up overcompensating by giving too much to feel worthy or to, right? And so that becomes um, a real slippery slope. And I have been an advocate for teaching moms for so long as an esthetician. Estheticians are caretakers. Like, what we do is we teach people how to take care of themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right.
Right. And it's so much more than a beauty regimen, right? It's like taking that time for you and carving that out and making it intentional. So I love that you brought that in. And it's unfortunate, but again, nothing by coincidence. And I know that you understand that. I was going to say it's unfortunate that you had this experience, that you have to do it, and that your body's in so much pain. And that's also what's allowed you to have these gifts come through you and the life that you have.
No question about it. And even my daughter said to me once upon a time, she said, I'm so amazed that, what you've been through, and I'm grateful for it because it's made you who you are. And that was one of the teachings that my meditation teacher would say, is that you're bless your history, or bless your herstory in our case, because it's created you as who you are. All of the experience that you've accumulated in your lifetime has led you to this point, and that's what you're working with, right? So even if it's tumultuous, or there's trauma or violation or intensity, that's where you're starting. That's where you start with your healing journey, because all of that condensed nugget of energy that's packed in there is, when you unpack it, when you express it and free it and release it in a creative and productive way, then it's incredibly powerful. And it really creates a beautiful offering for people. And so part of my journey is recognizing and connecting, is, what's my highest destiny, my vision for myself, and what would I like to offer in this short life that I have. And there's, when you're on track, you're zinging, you're in your kind of harmonic resonance, like everything flows, and there's synchronicity, and doors open, and opportunities happen, and magic appears, and there's this opportunity to have this experience of incredible awe and wonder day to day. And I literally wake up excited. I wake up excited to be alive, right? Because I am living in alignment with my highest destiny. And I know at the end of the day, whether it comes tomorrow or in 30 years or whenever that is, that I'll be able to look back and say, that was incredible. I had an amazing life and I fulfilled my highest destiny, and there's something so, uh, incredibly rich and rewarding about that.
Mm, absolutely. Again, so many little nuggets in what you just shared there, and I so appreciate the bless your history or herstory piece you brought in. In fact, I was just interviewing Patricia Masakian of the Akashic Records Institute, and she gave me a great little nugget there, that the villains in our life play those roles out of love. That the villains in our life play those roles out of love. And that is like absolutely like such a gift to think about, that we're all really in this together, even on the surface, how it looks like, this terrible, painful piece, but on the back end, it's like agreements were made where we're like, I'm going to do this to help you fulfill your highest purpose, because this is going to knock you down so you can rise up.
Right. That's facing your demons, right? Or recognizing that your nemesis are your gurus. That there's lessons there when somebody rubs you the wrong way, or is confrontational, or creates triggers or charges in you. That there's actually some wounding in you to have that response and to look at that. It's another opportunity for self-reflection, right? And yeah, so reconciling that in yourself, then we're all raising ourselves up to have that oneness consciousness, that everything is just a mirror of who you are.
Wouldn't it be great if the schools taught our children that?
Right. Well, this is, ancient philosophy that's been, in many, like in India, for it's the Sanskrit and the Vedic astrology, all of those, and the Tibetan Buddhists, they understand this kind of concept, and they've been holding that wisdom for a long time. And the indigenous elders also have been holding that wisdom for a long time, is that we are all part of one great spirit, and we are all reflections of one another in the grand cosmic scheme of things.
Absolutely. And did you study some Vedic
Well,
work?
my meditation teacher was a Vedic monk. And
Um,
so I sat with him in his ashram for on a number of occasions and for many months, and meditated in his sanctuary for a long time. And yeah, that was where, like I said, that he first turned the focus inward, because I was looking outside of myself. I was so lost, I didn't know I was lost, and I was trying to find answers outside of myself. And when I turned the focus inwards, I really didn't like what I saw. It was complete chaos, a lot of intensity. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. All of that story that was bound up in there. And so over the years, that's what began to unpack and unravel, and the seed of doubt that kept presenting, and um, most of my journey has been about believing in myself and believing that I have it in me to shine, to thrive, to fly, to be successful, to allow what wants to come through, because a lot of it for me is just getting my own ego out of the way and allowing this divine channel to be expressed.
right, through the work you do one on one, and also I imagine in like the writings you do, the books, and your artwork. You
Yeah,
really
the
have to get
artwork.
out of
Yeah, I
you
mean,
really have
I
to get out of your way, right?
literally just sit down and it's like, what's happening? Here we are, great spirit. It's all really just tuning in, and I'll set a conscious intention for sure. Okay, this one's about boosting the immune system, for example, or this one's for the cardiovascular system, or this one's for assisting people with cancer. And it's a deep listening and receiving that download, if you like, or that outload, and just receiving the information and being instructed from spirit, from angels, from guides, or from the collective unconscious, from the Legion of Light, whoever you want to call it, to
Right.
to place the notes in a certain way, to place the colors in a certain way, to create a piece of art that then transmits an energy vibration that, like a tuning fork, will harmonize the person who's observing or receiving or witnessing it. So just like anything, you receive a transmission from this work of art.
I got that message looking at your artwork that
That's the intention behind it. And that's the intention behind vision weaving. Vision weaving, so many things are beyond words, right? Words do not do the divine justice. You cannot describe God, goddess with words. I mean, you can try, but ultimately it's a presence, it's a feeling, it's an experience. It's not a concept. And so all of my expressions are an endeavor to share the divine.
oh, that is so beautiful. I love that. And you even created I'm jumping ahead because I got so excited. You even created something for our podcast listeners that will let you tell a little bit about what it is that you created to share, that it sounds like it's a transmission that they will get as well.
Well, sure. So when we were talking and you mentioned that there was an opportunity to give a gift, I was like, what's the best thing that I can do that would be easy to create in a short amount of time, and something that can, assist people. So in alignment with sacred beauty, there's what I call, well, some people will know what they are, an NFT, which is a digital asset. And so for the listeners of this podcast, you're welcome to claim your free NFT, and that is a digital currency, which I could go into explaining for hours, but I'm not going to even attempt to do that. It's traveling on the coattails of cryptocurrency. And so all you need to do is create a free account and to claim your token. And that's a piece of art that you then own, which is transmitting sacred beauty. So by witnessing it, by observing it, by meditating on it, it's intended to create this feeling of radiant spirit in yourself.
I can't wait to get my copy.
Claim that, baby, claim it.
I'm claiming it. That is so cool. How did you get started in art? Like, is this something you were also doing as a young girl?
I've always picked up a pen and been doodling. I've literally got in trouble for it in class. I was drawing stars on my English notes, and being pulled up for it and daydreaming. I'm a great daydreamer. I'm quite a spacey person. And there's good reason for that, because I am spending half of my life in the collective unconscious. That's, where I work from. So now I understand it. But at the time, in a rigid school system, it wasn't appreciated. And so I've always doodled. I've always taken that time for myself just to create. And it's come through in poetry. It's come through in music. It's come through in films. It's come through in acrylic on canvas. It's whatever tools, whatever medium I have on hand is what I'm going to work with. And the latest thing is I've been teaching myself, Illustrator and Photoshop and After Effects, which is the Adobe suite of digital, to create digital artworks, because so much is online now, and I realize that there's an opportunity to, deliver this healing energy in a way that can go out to so many people online. So, and the colors are so vibrant too, which I love. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that you're doing that. How fun. And
yeah,
I totally see what you mean about daydreaming and spending your time. That's your creative energy too. When you're a daydreamer,
right.
you're really tapping into the creative field.
Absolutely. I said to my husband, the most productive thing I can do is nothing. I need nothing days.
I really think that's what we're moving into, Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because yeah, it's just that whole framework of gotta, and do, and the to-do list never ends. And
Ever.
yeah, and part of my healing is recognizing that I need to decelerate and stare at the clouds for a while, and that just is that's my happy zone, right?
I think that's a message for all of us. Thank you for sharing that. And as a matter of fact, I wonder if you have a tip to share with our listeners, someone who maybe was struggling how you were, like didn't, really know what to do, didn't want to go inside. If you have a tip to some way get started, what is it that you would tell somebody?
Well, the first and foremost tool that is readily available to everyone is simply bringing the awareness to the breath. So you will find any modality that focuses on the breath, like yoga or sacred dance or meditation or Tai Chi or any of the martial arts, anything that involves the breath is an incredible tool, because as far as I'm concerned, the breath is the key, and just bringing that awareness to the quality of your breath. How are you holding? Is the inner outer, is it balanced? And is it contracted? Is it flowing? And especially nowadays, with so much going on with people's breathing and COVID, and the struggle of this life force, that it's bringing our attention to the quality of our breath so much. And so much is held in breathing, and so much is in resistance when you're not conscious of the breath. And you can in fact tap into some really, really profoundly deep states with breathing techniques, and you can also release a tremendous amount of pain and trauma just by following the breath.
Thank you for that. It's such a brilliant tip. It's like I feel sometimes, almost always, the greatest spiritual teachings are simple, not easy, meaning you actually have to do them
Right,
and follow through and have consistency.
right.
And yet so simple, and we often do forget to breathe. And the beauty is that your breath is a tool you have everywhere you go.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can work with it. I mean, if you are in physical pain, for example, I know from experience that when you're in pain that the breath contracts and you try to kind of shift yourself to avoid the pain, versus if you're actually present to the pain and you allow yourself to really zero in on it and focus that breath into the pain, it somehow makes it bearable. It takes the suffering out of the pain. You can distinguish pain from suffering. You know, suffering is really the lingering story that goes along with the pain, versus just being present to the physical pain and allowing yourself to be okay with it and not in resistance to it. That in itself is a tremendous freedom. And yeah, it takes a lot of resistance out of your body to be in that place.
That is such a great point. What we resist persists is something that's
Absolutely.
coming to mind, right? And when we meet it, we can melt it or transform it or transmute it, right?
Right, right. And that comes back to like facing your demons, right? So we're running and we're trying not to look and we don't want to look inside and we're trying to function from this very kind of exterior experience, versus if you do stop and allow yourself to face your demons and confront your fears and look at the wounding inside of yourself, take that time to self-reflect. That's when you can begin to alchemize and transform that shadow, that negative energy that you're holding in your body, so that you can then be free of it, so that you can then alchemize it and transform and live a life where you are radiant from inside because you've done that work.
Thank you. And because we deserve to be happy.
We absolutely do deserve to be happy. And I met a Rinpoche once who said everybody is striving for happiness. Every single creature on earth is moving towards happiness. And it made a lot of sense to me. You know, even the most tortured souls wish for happiness, you know. And so wherever you're at, whatever's happening in your life, there's that striving, there's that yearning, and there's that free will and that ability to begin to make that change in yourself.
Thank you. That's a good point to bring up the free will,
Yeah,
making that decision for yourself.
right. Because, I mean, we can just go round and round and round in circles in pain and agony forever. And then it's like, wait a minute, I actually have some sovereignty here. I have some agency and I can make a difference in my life by, you know, by being willing to look and see.
Absolutely. It's like, what are you going to do with this one wild and precious life?
Exactly.
Is there something that you would say to your 20-year-old self if you could go back and talk to her now? Something that you wish that you knew, that, whether it's about, healing or wellness in general, whatever comes to mind to share?
Well, that would be a long conversation.
I hear
Hmm.
you.
I guess the main thing is you got this, babe, and it's going to be okay, and you know that you'll figure it out, and yeah, it's good things are coming, you know, and of course, life is not always easy and there's challenges, and that's the game of life, right? It's not like you figure it all out and everything just becomes effortless. There's always going to be tests and challenges. It's just that you know, you have what it takes. You have it inside of you to find the way through.
Yes, thank you. Beautiful. And what is a big message that you would shout from mountaintops if you could? Like, what do you want the whole world to know?
Well, since we're on a sacred beauty uh, podcast, I would say that your radiant spirit is magnificent, and that when you know yourself as a spirit, when you remember who you are as a spirit, and you remember why you came here and what your purpose is, that your life will be this magnificent journey of healing and awe and wonder and synchronicity and opportunity. And so to find that in yourself, to recognize who you are as a magnificent radiant spirit, and then that just radiates out of you, and you are beautiful. You become beautiful when you recognize who you are and that light within you.
Yes, thank you. That's absolutely what I subscribe to and share. So thank you.
You're so
That
welcome.
is the true beauty elixir, like letting your higher self, letting your essence permeate through you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that, that calling in you, that yearning in you, that if you're lost and you haven't found it, or you're not living a life that's kind of in that is resonant for you, then keep looking until you find it, right? And it will involve all of your experiences, all of your talents, all of your abilities, all of your her story, and it's going to click at some point when you've found it, what you're here for, and it will be of service to the greater good, right? It's not just about me. It's not just about you. It's about being of service, because we need healers right now. We need artists. We need creatives. We need people who are lit from the inside.
Yes, we do. Thank you. That's a beautiful message as well, to keep seeking. I love that. The answers will come.
Answers will come. They really will.
And so I am going to share all of your information, your link tree I think we'll have in the notes, because you have so many beautiful links to share, your Spotify, your artwork, your book. So we'll have all of the information, as well as if you want to do a one-on-one session with Sarah, will be here in the notes. It was such an absolute pleasure and honor to get to share you and your magic and to co-create with you. Thank you so much for your precious, beautiful time and light.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much.